Good morning, lecturers and all participants in the seminar. I'm Kadiman Siompu, and in these times, I want to present to you about my proposal with the title Increasing Students' English Vocabulary by Using Total Physical Response at Class 8 in SMP Negeri 2 Huamual Belakang. I divided my proposal into three chapters. The first chapter is about the introductions, and in this chapter 2 about review of literature, and about research methodology in chapter 3. Let's start in chapter 1 about the introduction. Vocabulary is one of the important elements in language that plays important role in increasing someone's understanding in order to communicate with others. Wilkins in 1972 said that while without grammar, little can be conveyed. Without vocabulary, nothing can be conveyed. Here he argued that vocabulary is more important than grammar. We all agree, without correct grammar, sometimes people still can understand about what others says in oral communication, while without vocabulary, nothing can be expressed to others in both oral and written communication. So that's why vocabulary is crucial in language learning. About teaching vocabulary, it needs suitable method that use to teach vocabulary to the students based on the level of understanding to make the learning process is going well and reach the goals. And one of the teaching methods that can be used by the teacher to teach vocabulary is TPR, or Total Physical Response Method. It is one of the teaching methods to support foreign language learning by James Asher in 1960s. TPR is a method of language learning which is based on speech and action coordinations. The problem statements in this research is the students have lack of English vocabulary, so they face difficulty in understanding what the teacher says in the learning process in the classroom. There are two research questions in this research. The first, how can students' English vocabulary, especially on verbs, can be increased by using total physical response method? And the second is, how do students' responses in vocabulary learning, especially on verbs, after using total physical response method? And based on the research questions, there are two research proposals. The first one is to find out the result of vocabulary learning, especially on verbs, after using total physical response method. And the second is to describe students' responses in vocabulary learning, especially on verbs, after using total physical response method. In chapter 2, about review of literature, I provide some of the theories by experts about vocabulary, TPR methods, and also there are three relevant related research that you can see in my proposal. And in the last chapter about research methodology, I will perform class action research as the research methodology in this study. According to Mike Tugart in 1997, class action research is an approach to improve the quality of the teaching and learning process by making changes towards improvements, learning methods or strategies to improve the process and learning outcomes in education. You can see on the screens about the procedures of class action research starting from the preliminary study. This research will be conducted at SMP Negeri 2 Huamual Belakang at the age class at class 8-1 in the academic years 2020 and 2021, which consists of 25 students that located in Talaganipa village, Huamual Belakang, West Seram Regency, Maluku Province. In collecting the data, I used three different instruments: tests that consist of pre-test and post-test, observation checklist, and interview to know about students' responses. For the qualitative data, I used the result of the observation checklist and interview from the students. Meanwhile, to measure the qualitative data, I measure the test result of students and analyze them by use Arikunto formula. And you can see the formula on the screens. Finally, in order to know the percentage of students who have passed the minimum mastery criteria in the pre-test and compare the percentage of the post-test class, and also to see whether or not the students have reached the success criteria. I will measure the data using the Sudiana formula, and you can see the formula on the screen. And at the end, if the students had reached the criteria that had been determined, the classroom action research will be successful. And in this research, the research will be success when there are 75 numbers of students who will achieve some improvement scores from the pre-test until the post-test. So I think that's all the explanation about my proposal. Thank you.